Hi guys, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm here with the final part of Love is a Battlefield. So in this part we're going to cover Timothy and Jennifer, Avery and Omar. So first up we meet Timothy and he's from Charlotte, and I've got to tell you, Timothy has a beautiful accent. It's like a southern gentleman accent, so nice. Timothy seems very, very rich. He drives a Ferrari, he dresses very well, and he seems to live a gilded life. I'm not quite sure what he does. I think it's probably going to be something like real estate or I don't know. His accent sounds like maybe he's got an oil field, who knows. Timothy has an ex, and that ex has a child, and he's still very attached to his ex, Veronica, and very attached to the child. And even though they've finished, they seem to ring each other several times a day. So we catch up with Tim, and he's on the plane to Colombia, and he tells us he's been flying for 11 hours. In an effort to look better for his model girlfriend, he's wearing hydration patches under his eyes. He doesn't want to look tired when he gets there, and that could potentially be red flag number 1 for his Colombian princess. I don't know what she'd think to somebody wearing hydration patches. He tells us he's in love with Jennifer and he hopes to marry her. So Jennifer's 25 years old and she's Colombian. She has a 1-year-old daughter. She loves to keep fit, so we see her doing CrossFit and we see her boxing. Keeping fit empowers her. She's like a powerful princess. I'm kind of a princess, but a princess warrior. And I've got a feeling that that's Jennifer's way of telling us I'm a little bit of a ball ache. She's a model and she tells us it's very fun and she loves the attention. Well, who wouldn't? And she reminds us that any man who chooses her should feel very lucky about it. She's been married before, but she went online dating because she wanted to find a man who knows how to treat a woman. She met Tim online and they started talking about his house and about his Ferrari. So I pretty much think I know where this one's going. She wants someone that works very hard so that they can have a good lifestyle. And she thinks Tim is a very hard worker and that's very attractive to her. Don't worry, Jennifer. If it doesn't work out with Tim, I know another really hard worker. So if hard work turns you on, I present to you Caesar. Caesar works 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, so he can send money to his love, Maria. So if neither of your relationships works out, I think you'd be a perfect match. Come on now, Jennifer. There's more than just hard work that attracted you to Tim. And so then we catch up with Jennifer at the pool and she's with her friends and they're swimming and lounging and tanning, and she's been talking to them about her relationship. And when I say talking, I mean moaning. She's basically saying that she's upset because Tim has a close relationship with his ex, Veronica, and she doesn't like the closeness of this relationship. She shows a picture of Veronica, which I have no idea, Tim, why you're sending your new squeeze pictures of your old squeeze. But anyway, her friend, who seems like she might be somewhat of a hater, tells her, oh my god, she looks just like you. And I thought, yeah, your friend's a little bit of a hater. She's saying she looks just like you. But then I see the picture and bloody hell, she really does just look like her. It's her doppelganger. So we realise now that Tim has a type. She does tell them that he's got great taste, the Ferrari, and great style. I've yet to see this, but the majority of the conversation was about his ex, Veronica, and his relationship with her that, according to Jennifer, is too close. And I always think that if your partner has a type, it's slightly worrying because it means you're potentially interchangeable. And she tells her friends she thinks that Tim might be trying to make her jealous. And to be quite honest, I don't know what game Tim is actually playing. And Jennifer says she doesn't know if it's for attention or if it's to make her jealous. Well, it doesn't matter really which it is because he's managed to do both. So we next see Tim as he's walking through the airport. I'm very worried. I think she's going to be out of my league. Tim, if you think somebody's going to be out of their league, they automatically will be out of your league. Have faith in yourself. Have faith. As we know, life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. He also tells us he's worried that Jennifer's going to be worried about Veronica and the closeness of their relationship. And he says, I don't think she really understands just how close we are. Tim, you've already told Jennifer, who you've yet to meet, that Veronica threw you a party. You've already shown Jennifer, who you've yet to meet, pictures of you and Veronica together. I think she's got some idea. And she's in a taxi on the way to the airport and she says, I'm not sure how it's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be tall enough for me. Jennifer, it seems to me that you've got a full financial breakdown on this guy. I'm sure that you know how tall he is. And she said if her daughter doesn't like him, that's going to be a problem. Jennifer, your daughter's 1.5. If he gives your daughter a packet of M&Ms, she'll automatically like him. Please don't let that be your only criteria. But don't worry, Tim's got a plan. He has a gift of a teddy bear that's twice the size of her daughter. They meet and it's a really nice scene, and it seems as if he's happy with what he sees and she's quite happy with him, and unsurprisingly, the daughter loves Terri. He tells us Jennifer is gorgeous, she's stunning, and I absolutely cannot believe this is happening. Well, believe it, because she's about to start breaking your balls. And Jennifer wastes absolutely no time in trying to get to the bottom into his relationship with ex-Veronica. Jennifer, at least wait until he's got to the apartment. And so Tim tells Jennifer that Veronica called him. Jennifer said, why? So that she could check that I got here safely. Tim, it's not TIM, it's TMI. Too much information. She doesn't need to know every single time that you talk to her. There's no point in telling Jennifer every little bit of contact that you have with her. So she said, I already made this clear to you, or didn't I? You have too much contact. Tim thinks about this statement for a moment, and then he offers, well, she took me to the airport. Tim, you're making it worse. She took you to the airport? And we all know, Tim, you could have got a taxi. You must know somebody else that would have wanted to take you for a spin in your Ferrari to the airport. She wasn't the only person in all of America, 320 million people. I was going to say 320, and that's not counting the illegal immigrant. But I guess with President Trump around, there probably aren't any illegal immigrants left. Tim starts deeping this information and he decides, oh, Jennifer's really jealous. Tim, you're creating this jealousy and you're keeping that fire stoked. And then ball break number 2. Jennifer tells Tim, you are nervous, you are nervous. Tim does look nervous. He's not looking at her. But the truth be told, she seems like a very fiery and unpredictable character. But in love as he is with her aesthetic, I think Tim's in it for the long haul. I think they'll end up getting together. I think she wants the same luxury life that Zied thinks he's getting with Rebecca. I don't know what happened between him and Veronica, but I'd be very interested to find out because they're very close. He still obviously loves her aesthetic because it's exactly the same as Jennifer. So what went wrong? Jennifer's right, she does need to get to the bottom of this. And so my final review for Love is a Battlefield, Avery, Omar and her mum Terri. And whilst I didn't think it was possible for anyone to make me cringe more than Darcy, Terri, you're giving the girl a good run for her money. So we see them back at the hotel and Avery's explaining that they need to get married super quickly because they need to start the visa process, which because of President Trump's new rules is going to take a lot longer than it used to. They're going wedding dress shopping and Terri shows some surprise that Omar's allowed to go with them. And she tells us, typically in the US, men don't go wedding dress shopping. Terri, are you in the US? No, you're not, you're in Lebanon. Different place, different practices, it's real simple. And so in the wedding dress shop, Ashley tries a couple of dresses on and then she points out another dress and she says, and Omar says it's more sparkly. And Ashley confides, I like sparkles. They're my favourite. And I'm reminded once more that she's only 19. And she tries on the most beautiful gown, but it is very tight. And Omar says it's too tight, you can see your form, you can see that you're a woman. And poor Avery had to put the dress back and choose a new dress. Avery was very accepting of this, but Terri piped up and said she always wore tight dresses before. Terri, unfortunately now, is not before. Now is now. Although I can't help thinking, the fact that that dress is in the shop means that it's okay for some women to wear that. Otherwise, why would it exist? Maybe Omar's more conservative than we gave him credit for. But I guess by the time Avery finds this out, it's going to be too late. She'll already be married and living in an ISIS stronghold in Syria. And finally, they settle on a wedding dress that both Avery and Omar are happy with. So Terri tells us that Avery was the most independent, ambitious and outgoing person you've ever met. And she says it now upsets her because she's watching Avery enjoy being told what to do and being told what to wear. The way that I kind of saw this situation was that they came to an agreement on a dress. And let's be real, Terri, that happens a lot in America as well. So I think we don't always have to jump to the negative. Avery has herself chosen to go on a Muslim dating site and marry a Muslim man. Now I have no idea what her reasons are for this, but I do think it's better that it's Avery's choice to be a Muslim rather than if she'd just fallen in love with somebody at work who happened to be a Muslim and then convinced her to be a Muslim or pressurised her into converting to be a Muslim. She's chosen to do it. She knows there's potentially more of a compromise to be made in that type of relationship in terms of what you wear than there is possibly in a Western relationship. She's chosen to walk this path. But Terri, stop for a minute and have a look at yourself, because although Avery's chosen it, she's 19, you have facilitated it. You are buying the dress, you are paying for the hotel rooms, you are paying for her to go to Lebanon to meet this guy. You could have said, Avery, go to work and save up yourself, and only when you've got the money will you meet Omar. She failed to do that. So now, don't go all the way to Lebanon and pick fault in everything you see. Terri, look into the mirror, and the person staring back at you is partially to blame for what's now unfolding. So the next scene cuts to them in a restaurant, and Terry's trying to encourage Avery to have an alcoholic drink. She tells us 2 years ago, when she wasn't legally allowed to drink. Newsflash, Terri, the drinking age in America is 21. The Ebird's fallen foul of this many times. She's still not allowed to drink. So why are you in Lebanon trying to convince her to drink? Don't let her drink what you drink. Long Island iced tea is only going to make matters worse. And Terry's outrage is beginning to kind of get on my nerves. Because if there's two things that we know about Muslims, what are those things? 1, they dress conservatively. 2, they're not allowed to drink alcohol. These are things which we all know, so why are you bringing them up as problems now? I think much more of a problem is that she was brought up as a Westerner and is going to live in Syria. I think much more of a problem is that she's getting married at the very tender age of 19 to someone that she's only known for a couple of days. So the next thing she did was she brought up a website called Muslim Wife, and she finds a passage which says, if your wife is guilty of open lewdness, refuse to share a bed with them and hit them, but not severely. Terri, anybody can write anything on the internet. If I decide to put a search into the internet, are Americans rich? One website is going to tell me yes, probably the same website that Akeen has been looking at. In another website, it will tell me 30% of Americans are living in poverty. You can find whatever you want on the internet. I put Muslim Wife into Google and it says wives should be spoken to kindly. Address your partner the way you'd like to be spoken to. So she proceeds to ask Omar, are you going to hit my daughter? He didn't know what to say, as well he might not. And he said, well, she's nice to me, so. And Terri said she's not always nice, so if she's not, then what? Terri, this is too much pressure. You're asking ridiculous questions and you're being very rude. And then Avery says, you better not hit me. And poor Omar, who had no intentions of hitting anybody, is now being lumped together with every single Muslim on the planet as a wife beater. And Terri said it's in the Quran. He said no, it's not, it's in the Hadith. And from what I understand to this, I think it's probably the difference between Old Testament and New Testament. Some things are changed, some things are different. And then of course some people interpret whatever's in any holy book, a Bible, a Quran, whatever, to suit their own need. But then Avery's age shows itself once more, because Terri says, are you going to have more than one wife? And Avery turns to Omar and says, I'm going to be his only wife, you're only going to have one wife, aren't you? And Omar starts going, well, it says in the Quran, you can only take another wife if you agree. And she said, well, I only want to be the one wife. That's the kind of thing that you need to nail down before you meet the person and before you accept their engagement ring and agree to marry them. If he's open to the idea of having more than one wife, you can pretty much guarantee that by the time things have gone south a little bit and you're the wrong side of 40, he probably will want another wife if that's in his thought process. Does his dad have more than one wife? If that's the case, you might be on a rocky road to nowhere. But Terri, you should have found out before you went to Lebanon to meet him with your daughter. Has she asked these questions? This should have all come up before you set foot on a plane. This is obviously a deal breaker to Avery, but until now it seems like she's never asked Omar about it. Those pesky kids. Omar promises to Terri that he'll never hit Avery, and then Omar tells us Terri does not respect my culture. And here's my take on it. Even if you don't like Islam, you don't want to follow the teachings of what it is to be a Muslim, you still should be respectful of their culture and their customs if you are in their country. She tells Omar, if you beat my daughter, I will beat you with a stick. Terri, is there ever any way that you would speak to any prospective partner for your daughter in such a way? Wanted to sabotage the relationship, the best way to have sabotaged it would be not to facilitate your daughter financially, would be not to pay for the wedding, pay for the flights, pay for the hotel. That would be the way that I would sabotage it. You're now just being very rude to somebody who's done nothing to you and has shown you nothing but politeness and hospitality whilst you've been there. Guys, she's far too young to have a clear understanding of all the questions she needs to ask Omar before they marry, of all the indicators she needs to look at. My subscribers keep getting onto my page and saying, but she's 19, she's actually an adult now, she can make her own decisions. You're right, she can, but if she can't afford to pay for those decisions, and it seems as if she can't, then she can't make those decisions because she has no money. At 19, most people need someone to facilitate them, and in Terri, Avery has her facilitator stroke saboteur. Guys, let me know what you think. Do we like Tim and Jennifer? I think Jennifer is TV gold. I think she's going to be a little diva, and I can't wait to see what Terri does next. Please put your comments and thoughts down below. I do read every comment, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Just press that red button and you'll make Ebird a very happy Ebird. Ciao for now.